recap, and that should be a good game as well. The Patriots-Lions game, notice I didn't say that would be a good game.
How dare you? Interesting you bring those games up, Stark. I was just looking at those over the commercial, and Cincinnati at the Jets is the one I was looking at, because T.O., T.O.'s been on fire all year, but Revis Island will probably be on T.O. as opposed to Ocho Cinco that week. So is that week 12? Do you sit T.O. at almost the end of the fantasy season?
Well, fortunately, I can, because I have
options.
Yeah, I have a pretty deep roster as far as wide receivers are concerned on the teams that I do have T.O. on. There's one team I don't have T.O. on. That's the league I'm in with you two guys. But, yeah, in the league that I'm in first place in, I do have options. I have Marshall, T.O., Brandon Lloyd, Des Bryant, and Austin Collie. So,
has anyone heard anything about Marshall? He went down the other night, didn't return.
Yeah.
A Thursday night, looked like he hurt his knee maybe a little bit, but I haven't been able to get any updates on what the injury might be.
No, I wish I had something too, but I haven't heard a thing.
Interesting.
Couldn't catch a ball either that night. 529-1450 is the phone number. We got the phones going. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101. Go ahead.
I got a dilemma with my third receiver. My options are James Jones on Green Bay, Nate Washington, and Michael Crabtree.
Let me take this. I'll tell you why. Studs, duds, and sleepers. My sleeper, James Jones, Green Bay. Even if Driver plays and there's a question whether he will or not, Jones should be a real good, like a third receiver or a flex option against Minnesota. Minnesota has given up 23 fantasy points a game to receivers over the last 4. I love James Jones.
I'm not that mad at Nate Washington this week either, really. He might be decent as well, but I'm with Mark. James Jones is in line for a good day too, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because Nate Washington, I wouldn't even consider him probably, but I was reading somewhere this week where the Redskins secondary was possibly going to be short LaRon Landry and what's the other guy, Charlie Rogers, or I think is his name. Have you guys heard anything on that?
Yeah, the Washington secondary, along with playing very poorly last week and can't tackle.
I was going to say, I don't think it matters.
They also do have some guys back there banged up, so I can understand why Washington would be on your minds. I think between Washington and Jones, I don't think you'd have a bad choice between the two. Crabtree I'm not as wild about, but yeah, I think between Washington and Jones would be your best choices.
All right, well, and it is only my third one, thankfully. The other two are legit, so.
Oh, yeah. You're in good shape. Who are your other two?
Anquan Bolden and Andre Johnson. I know Andre's got a not-so-great matchup, but I can't bench him.
You can't. No, you can't sit Andre Johnson, and he should still get some decent numbers for you. But, yeah, you're set with the first two, and then you plug in the third guy. You'll be okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. I like the show.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you much. Thanks for the call. 529-1450, 529-1450. Let's take another one. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I need you to talk me out of making a crazy move. I am actually considering benching Peyton Manning for Matt Castle over Arizona.
Yikes.
About had a coronary.
Listen,
he had a rough 3 weeks, and I just don't like that matchup against New England, although he usually does well against him.
Yeah, and Matt Castle is a sexy play this week. I've heard a lot of people, saying get him in your lineup. Excellent matchup at home against Arizona. But this is I'm a stickler for keeping your studs in the game. And that's the same reason I told LJ a few weeks ago to plug in Calvin Johnson no matter what. And it's the same reason we just told the last guy to plug in Andre Johnson no matter what. Certain guys you just have to have in your lineup no matter what. And Peyton Manning is one of those guys. Now, he's had some trouble in the past against New England, but it seems like that was the more distant past. The more recent past, he's kind of been pretty good against him. So I don't give up on him right now. We're nearing the end of the year. And if you sit Peyton Manning and it turns out to be a mistake, you don't want that to be the mistake that costs you your season.
Yep.
Well, we're kind of looking at he might have done that last week, actually.
Uh-oh.
I kind of need to win out. He played me into a tie with 9 points that he contributed.
Ties are so lame.
And I understand your dilemma with Castle because Arizona is so bad. 325 yards a game passing to quarterbacks over the last 4 or 5. They really can't cover any receiver. But I'm like Eric, boy, Manning. Man, it's just tough.
You know what? This week, I really like that Kansas City running game. I don't feel like Castle needs to throw more than 1 or 2 touchdowns, and I think they're just going to be able to run it out.
Charles, so.
Oh, yeah, that's great news. Yeah, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
I'd roll with Peyton Manning. It seems like he'll have to battle against New England, and probably throw 3 touchdowns or so, and where it seems like Castle will only need to throw 1 or 2, and then they can really just pound the ball.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think you talked me into it.
Good luck.
I hope we made the right choice.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Thanks for the call, 529-1450, 529-1450. Same point as, me playing Witten over Gronkowski. You have to play your stud. 529-1450 is the phone number. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101. Go ahead.
All right, guys. Wide receiver question.
All right.
And I think I know where you're going to go with it because I've called you with Malcolm Floyd questions before, and you always seem to tell me to sit him. So, but anyways, assuming he plays and he's good to go, should I go Malcolm Floyd or Steve Johnson?
Steve Johnson is my fantasy boyfriend, so
You're tugging on his heartstrings right now.
I always tell people to get him in. He had a disappointing week last week, but that was like literally his first one of the year. Now the problem you're going to run into is you may not know if Malcolm Floyd is going to play until Monday.
Right.
So that means you'll have to make your decision before you actually know his status for the game. So if it's me, in case he doesn't play, and assuming you don't have somebody like do you have Pat Creighton on your team?
No,
Okay.
other Charger receivers on my team.
So if you sit Steve Johnson and take a gamble on Malcolm Floyd and he ends up not playing, then you are in big trouble Monday night. So if it's me, I do the same thing and I play Steve Johnson.
And he did have a setback in a practice, so he's a little more questionable than he was earlier in the week. I'm the same way. I put Johnson in, and then I keep my ear to the TV and make sure right before Monday night, but at least Johnson, is going to play.
Right. Okay. And then I guess real quick, Flacco or Roethlisberger?
Ooh, that's a good one. Boy, I'm going to go.
I've got Flacco as my stud this week.
Do you? Yeah, and I have him in my
Carolina.
lineup. But Pittsburgh is at home against Oakland. Osmula has a pretty dinged up ankle. So Roethlisberger's going to have a good game too. I like both of those guys really. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think you're probably in line for about the same type of day from both guys.
That's a coin flip type of thing because I've gone right one next to another in rankings. So yeah, I think you're. I think you just decide and flip the old coin and go with it.
Sure. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Good luck to you.
Problem.